More than a dozen BSF jawans were injured in this terror attack. The army gave us permission to go into the command hospital in Udhampur and speak to the jawans. I started by chatting with the driver who was on the wheels when the terrorists started firing away. We are currently in the surgical ward of the Northern Command's Army Hospital. We've been given permission by the Army headquarters to speak to the BSF jawans who were injured in the firing yesterday. 4 of them have been brought over here. Let's speak to some of them. I want to start by asking the driver of that ill-fated bus which came under attack by these terrorists. He's joining us here. Sir, सबसे पहले बताएं कि आप ड्राइवर थे, आप गाड़ी चला रहे थे, आपने क्या देखा?
छुपे हुए थे, ऊपर मक्की वगैरह थी और 3-4 ट्रक लगे हुए थे और जम्मू की तरफ आने वाले थे। वो खड़े थे वहाँ पे ट्रक और मैं गाड़ी जो चढ़ाई हुई उसको मतलब चढ़ाई चढ़ रही थी गाड़ी आसे आसे। वो जगदम उधर से निकलने के बाद वो 2-3 थे, उन्होंने फायरिंग की, गाली गलौज दिया। तो गाली गलौज देने के बाद फिर हम गाड़ी में ही पड़े रहे। जब पड़ा वो जो गार्ड वाला था उसने फायरिंग वगैरह की है। एक मिलिटेंट जो था पता है उससे वो गोली लग रही थी, वो मरा वो, नहीं तो वो गाड़ी में ही आ रहा था। वो जो मिलिटेंट था वो
गाड़ी में घुसने की कोशिश कर रहा था, जो कि बहुत खतरनाक हो सकता था क्योंकि कितने कुल जवान थे बीएसएफ के उस बस में?
45।
आतंकवादियों की कोशिश थी कि वो किसी तरीके से बस के अंदर घुस जाते, क्योंकि उस वक्त पर इन तमाम जवानों के खुद के हथियार पीछे जहां पर सारा सामान पड़ा होता है वहां पर थे, क्योंकि ये ट्रैवल कर रहे थे, इस वजह से इनके हथियार आपके साथ नहीं थे। तो ये बात सही है कि चूंकि आप लोग बस में उस वक्त बैठे थे तो आपके खुद के हथियार आप लोगों के पास नहीं थे?
नहीं सर, मैं जयपुर से आया था डाक लेके। मेरी डीपीसी थी 12 तारीख की।
तो नाम क्या है सर?
मेरा कांस्टेबल राकेश कुमार बाबल। तो मैं जयपुर से, हमारा जो रियर हेडक्वार्टर जयपुर राजस्थान में है, वहाँ से हम डाक लेके जाते। हमारे पास डाक थी, हथियार नहीं था हम, क्योंकि वहाँ से डाक और वहाँ वो डीपीसी थी 12 तारीख की, इसीलिए जा रहे थे।
तो भारी बचाव हो गया कि आतंकवादी बस के अंदर नहीं घुस पाए, क्योंकि उनकी कोशिश तो थी कि बस के अंदर घुस के वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा तबाही मचाना।
हाँ, वो अगर वो गार्ड वाला लड़का उसी को अगर नहीं मारता तो अंदर घुसता वो, लेकिन उसने गार्ड वाले ने क्या किया, मरते मरते उसी को मार दिया तो अंदर नहीं घुस पाया। फिर वो एक मरने से दूसरा डर गया, फिर वो पीछे हो गया, नहीं तो दोनों एक साथ ही थे वो।
The only relief in the attack from yesterday is that the jawan who was on guard duty managed to fire back at the terrorists and ensure that they were not able to enter the bus, because if these terrorists had been able to enter the bus, there would have been 45 BSF jawans without any weapons who would have been in the direct line of fire. These jawans are now recovering, and we are told that their injuries are not very critical and they will be back on their feet armed with their weapons soon enough. With camera person Yogendra, this is Rahul Kamal at the Indian Army's Northern Command Army Hospital reporting for India Today. Why was only the border security force targeted by the terrorists? There was also a bus of Amarnath Yatris that passed from that exact spot. An army convoy also passed, as also a CRPF bus. Why then was the BSF the target? Does the border security force intend to change its standard operating procedures after Udhampur? Why was Udhampur targeted, a place that's been relatively peaceful for the last 2 decades? I put some of these questions to the Director General of the Border Security Force. This is an India Today exclusive. We are currently right outside the command hospital of the Northern Command in Udhampur. This is where jawans of the 18th Battalion of the Border Security Force are currently admitted. And joining us now is the Director General of this force, D.K. Pathak. He's our special guest on India Today. Mr. Pathak, we just spent time in the surgical ward speaking to those jawans who got injured yesterday, and what struck me really was how fortuitous we were that the terrorists weren't able to sneak into the bus, because your jawans didn't have weapons. If these terrorists had come in, the number of fatalities and the damages would have been far more than what we ended up with.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I always say, I've been saying all along about this episode, that the action taken by one of our jawans, the 2 of them, particularly Constable Rocky, who was the lone weapon holder in the entire group, he retaliated so valiantly, so timely and so effectively, thereby he could neutralize the militant who had come very close to the bus in which our people were traveling. The militant was trying to enter the bus. He immediately locked the door from inside, fired at him, and while he was firing at him, the other militant who had taken position on the nearby hillside was constantly firing from his automatic weapon towards the bus, and that's why 14 of our people got injured, 2 of them got murdered. And this brave, valiant act of our constable Rocky, I think it will go down in the annals of history whenever we talk about the incident and act of bravery.
What do you make, sir, of the fact that attacks are now taking place in Udhampur? Udhampur has generally been a relatively peaceful place. There hasn't been an attack for the last several years. Now Udhampur being targeted. Last time when you and I met, we were here at the international border, close to Jammu. What do you think is happening? The scene of action seems to be moving away from the Kashmir Valley towards Jammu and now Udhampur.
You see, it's, at this stage I won't like to draw any pattern out of it. I won't like to draw any specific inference out of this incident. Yeah, it's a fact, it's true that almost for the last 2 decades there have been no incidents of this nature in this area. Maybe it's a wake-up call for us. It's not that even while moving in this area we were any lax, any kind of leniency was there. We were alert, and it's the result of our alertness and the security preparedness that the militant who had come so close and firing, targeting so effectively could be neutralized. So we are prepared everywhere.
Why was the BSF in specific the target of this attack? There were, I was at the place where this encounter took place. There were CRPF vehicles, there were Amarnath Yatris who were passing by. But from the interrogation report of Qasim or Naved, it appears that he was specifically looking to target a BSF vehicle. Why do you think BSF was the target?
See, I'm not privy to the investigation what is going on, so I wouldn't like to make any comment about it. But yes, it's a fact that ahead of us the army convoy had crossed. Before us, the CRPF convoy carrying Amarnath Yatri had crossed. We were perhaps the third in the lineup to the convoy. And why he targeted BSF, and that's a matter of investigation. Investigators are on the job. I think you put this question to them.
Okay. Is there any plan to change the standard operating procedure for jawans when they travel in buses? Because now that you've had a case where a BSF bus has been targeted, would you like to recommend to your boys to carry weapons even when they are in buses to deal with an eventuality of the sort that we saw in Udhampur, sir?
You see, we have we keep on reviewing our standard operating procedure. Even after this incident, we did have the brainstorming about it. I feel that there's no need to change any SOP at this stage, because even when this convoy was moving, there was enough security arrangements. You see, this convoy is arranged basically for the people who are coming or returning from leave, who are going on leave or returning from leave. So was the case in this particular case also. These people are returning from leave. They had left Jammu for going to Srinagar, and from there to their respective places of duty. Security component was there in the convoy, and not that every bus, every vehicle will have a section or a platoon of security component. There are security components placed at different positions in the convoy. Some armed component moves ahead of the convoy, some in the middle of the convoy, depending upon the. You see, the security component is placed depending upon the number of people in the convoy, number of vehicles in the convoy.